Okay, we are live. Finally starting to get the hang of this StreamYard. What's it called? Software. Sorry, just blanking out for a second. But yeah, getting the hang of the StreamYard thing. For some reason, I used to use OBS to live stream, but oh, someone just joined. Let me add him. Hello.
Hello, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine. My channel, I did that live stream last night. I got talking to AMX40.
Yeah.
I fell asleep, right, and then I got talking to him for the last an hour and a half or so. And I woke up this morning, the video was deleted. I can't live stream to my channel. So
Wow.
I live streamed a video of Fitz shoot, this, of Catherine Fitz, um, about the COVID vaccine and all this stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh, well, they
Yeah,
said it.
they definitely don't want the truth about this Jesuit COVID scamdemic coming out.
Uh, well, they called it. Oh yeah, that's what they called it. Medical misinformation.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I mean, I'm entitled to an opinion, and if I agree with somebody else's opinion on it, I think they should be allowed to share it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean it's basically, it goes back to this thing of the science falsely so called. These
Yeah,
scientists.
exactly. Spot on. Yeah. People
Yeah,
ignore. I mean, well, no, they don't ignore it. They don't really think about it and think, hold on, is science? As I mean, God's saying it, it's in there, the Holy Spirit, it's in it, in Scripture. Science falsely so called.
yeah.
Well, it's false about science. I mean, there is genuine science.
Well, true science will line up with the King James Bible.
Yeah, like it's flat
Yeah,
and we're stationary.
there's a verse of scripture I want to turn to about this science
Okay.
thing. It's like in Romans 1 talks about professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called.
Yeah.
It's not real science; it's science falsely so called.
Yeah. Evolution is another one.
Yeah,
I mean, use the same evidence that a creationist would use.
yeah,
They just, I mean, people would say, oh, you would say that, wouldn't you? But they twist the facts out of shape. They can't even make sense of the stuff.
yeah. They
It's
can't. I mean,
done,
it's like, and then when you question them, they'll completely deflect. I mean, because I've dealt with these people, these atheists and stuff, and they just will not admit to being wrong, and it comes down to pride mostly, but
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Did you ever look at that red pen logic thingy that I sent you? It was only
Uh,
5 long.
I forgot to check it out.
All right, it's okay, no big deal, John. I just put it there in case you might agree.
Hmm. There's
This
actually
stuff,
some pretty crazy stuff I wanted to show you actually, um, with regards to some of these Jesuits and stuff, and I'll share my screen real quick, but it's pretty crazy. So there's one article on Breitbart News.
yeah.
It says Jesuit priest says the Bible might be wrong about homosexuality.
Oh
You know,
shit. Right.
wow. Which proves the point that the Jesuits, the Catholics, don't believe the Bible because they can just change it whenever they feel like it. But it says,
They would say the Bible is wrong about homosexuality. We would say God's word is perfectly correct about sodomy.
yeah, exactly. And I'll just read.
Well, they just see it as a book.
Yeah, well, they see it as well. It's a authority, but ultimately the Pope is the final authority because
Yeah,
he's the substitute Son of God and all this other blasphemous stuff.
yeah.
Well, I'll just read the article real quick. It
And
says,
probably do, please do.
yeah, it says LGBT promoter father, call no man your father.
Yeah,
James Martin has questioned whether the biblical condemnation of homosexual behavior may be mistaken, referring to the example of slavery. So he's saying it could be mistaken. Citing a recent essay on the topic as interesting, uh, It says the Jesuit priest tweeted late Wednesday. This article is from about when was it written? So it was last year, October of last year, 2019. It says this is the Jesuit priest saying this. Where the Bible mentions same-sexual behavior at all, it clearly condemns it. I freely grant that. The issue is precisely whether the biblical judgment is correct. The Bible sanctions slavery as well, and nowhere attacked it as unjust. You know. So
Well,
basically, what he's saying is that what he's saying. What?
It depends what kind of slavery they're referring to.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, is it the slaves that the Catholic Church used to have, and during the Inquisition and everything, and I wonder if it's referring to that.
No.
But it just shows that the Catholics they basically think they're above the Bible, because basically they don't correct the Bible. The Bible doesn't correct them; they correct the Bible.
Yeah. Well, it's like that so-called Pope with was it Matthew 6? The
Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, trying to change the word of God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit like Jacob Thompson. It's just beyond. It's staggeringly. I'm lost for words, John. You know what I mean?
Well, it is definitely like Jacob Thompson, because and that's why I compare Jacob Thompson to the Pope, is because they are setting themselves above the scriptures, to where you have to listen to them now, basically, and not the scriptures, basically.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be Jacob's book, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got his book, and pretty blasphemous statement. He said, the definitive guide to who God is. If you don't believe this book or whatever, like, you're unsaved or something.
Yeah, I'm just glad you didn't give him any money, John.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it. I mean, I was actually, back when I was part of the Brian cult, I actually was telling Jacob, hey, where's your book going to be at? I'll buy it. But if I was still in the Brian cult when the book came out, I would have said I would not have bought it, just with the front cover alone. Just a weird image on the front cover.
Yeah. Yeah, these Catholics, but they do let the cat out of the bag. I think I mentioned it in another live stream with when they did like Blue Planet, Richard Attenborough. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. In this country, he's quite famous. He's almost a household name. But they do let slip, you should see the design of this, that, and the other creature, in the sea, or, in the jungle. They do let the word design slip out.
Yeah, they do.
And I was going to watch a film, because I was watching, and then it started going, it was a space thingy, or space film, something. Not NASA or anything. But the dialogue in it was, proved beyond any shadow of a doubt there's life in space. I thought, I don't want to hear that. I mean, they inject all this propaganda in the movies through Hollywood and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just closed the tab on it, John.
I don't blame you. It's it's all this propaganda and all this other garbage in Hollywood and all this other stuff, and
Sorry about the background. I'll mute my mic.
Was there a police car there or something?
I can never tell really whether it's police or ambulance. Mainly ambulance, though, I think.
Yeah. It probably could be. I mean, I live just down the street from kind of a. I mean, I'm not in the city or anything. I kind of live more in kind of a rural area, but the downtown area is kind of not just down the street from where I live.
Yeah.
And I do hear sirens constantly.
Well, it doesn't make common sense that the police would need a siren.
Yeah.
I mean, the flashing lights, yeah, but a siren just tells the criminals, the naughty people, that you're on the way.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. If you're like, if you say, okay, that's the guy we're after, you chase after, you turn on your siren, your lights, and that just alerts them, oh crap, they're after me, let me speed up so they can't catch up to me and stuff, and
Yeah. I mean, it's usually just to get through traffic, isn't it? I suppose you can use flash lights for that.
Well, yeah, because people have to pull over, so there's a benefit to that.
I don't really celebrate New Year. I think it's big in Scotland, John.
Mm.
Are you having any sort of celebration type thing? I know you're not into all these festivals and things, you know.
Yeah, I'm not into like holy days that kind of stuff, but
No,
just for the sake of it, I might be staying up till midnight tonight just for the sake of it.
yeah. So, I mean, I was gonna have a see. I was gonna go live tonight. AMX40 was gonna come in, and I was gonna have another chat with him in the studio. I'm gonna have to wait a whole week now before I can do
Wow,
that. Twice now. That's two strikes I've got. I think.
wow,
And I was only showing. Like, I was screencasting somebody else's video. There was a couple of other videos about the. Oh, I was showing a clip from Twitter of the police arresting this woman for filming inside of a hospital, which just happened to be probably empty. But the police came and arrested her for doing it.
wow,
That's this country.
huh? Crazy.
Yeah. Well, the American USA police are doing it on at least one occasion. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I had a doctor phone me this morning about my injury and stuff. He asked me about the vaccine. I said, "There's no way I'm taking the vaccine." And if in a million years, if they phone me in 6 months, the answer will be the same. Oh well, they'll phone you anyway, and you're not going to make. I said, "Well, it doesn't make any difference. I still won't be taking it."
Well, yeah, I won't be taking because vaccines are all kinds of harmful substances and toxic materials, and
Yeah,
you're basically injecting poison into your skin. That's what vaccines are.
yeah. Well,
Here, here's
regard
another
to
here's
the
another funny
vaccine.
article too. Actually, I think this is again on Breitbart News. Let's see how this works. Still starting to get the hang of this StreamYard thing, but
Privilege.
yeah, it says Jesuit-led parish asked parishioners to take pledge affirming white privilege must end.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you got
when they had slavery in this country, John. I mean, obviously I wasn't there. It was 200 years ago. I'm not that old.
yeah, exactly.
But slaves in this country, if you think about it, I'm not saying there weren't abuses. I'm sure there were. There always is when you got people involved. But I'm confident that the slaves that they had in this country were better looked after, treated better than those white people, ordinary people that were in the workhouses that we used to have in this country.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I mean,
guessing.
exactly. I mean, and they're fed, and the thing is that now you're seeing kind of a reversal now. It's now where white people are now being victimized, and
Yeah,
it's like, and yet, like they still talk about white privilege when it's like, you know, white
yeah.
people are constantly demonized, and it's like it's always a white man's fault and everything. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Mark Kirby, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're using. I don't know how far you would go with this. I've heard it so many, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times over the last year or two, probably more, about. I can't remember the exact word. They're using material from fecal, not fecal with a C, fecal. Baby,
Yeah, baby tissue and stuff like that.
something like that. I'm not sure what the proper phrase is. I mean, any vaccine is foreign to your body anyway. So we've got an immune system. Oh, I had George Carlin on the screen as well. I mean, okay, yes, I know he swears. He swears like a British Navy guy, but he gets the point across. That I mean, he was only stating. I mean, we've been given an immune system. By God, it's built in, John,
Oh yeah.
to fight all these viruses.
Yeah, that's the thing is that if we are just doomed without these pills and vaccines, then what in the world did people do before vaccines and pills and medicine was invented? I mean,
Yeah,
God didn't make you just so you just would just get it and just not survive. He made your body to be able to fight. I mean, that's the point of why you have white blood cells to fight off bacteria and stuff. I mean,
all
your
that
body is
stuff
equipped
is
to fight these viruses. That's the thing. I mean, you like it's like since when do you need a pill for everything or you need like a vaccine for everything, you
yeah.
know? And even then, there still are plenty of natural like medicine, natural,
Oh yeah,
you
there's
know,
tons of it. There's a cure for everything in those jungles, John.
yeah,
There's a cure for everything. You don't have to synthesize everything. They always want to synthesize stuff, make it an artificial sort of replica of the real thing. If you want a cure for cancer, sure they could find one in jungle medicine. I don't know. I mean, do they bother looking into it? Well, no, because the pharmaceutical industries are making trillions a year.
yeah. It's a big money making thing. There's actually a sermon, and there are areas of doctrine that I don't agree with Pastor Jason Cooley on, but he
Yeah,
got two really good sermons, exposing the fact that a lot of these like antidepressant things, a lot of these antidepressant medicine and that kind of stuff actually lead to more suicide and lead to all kinds of other health problems and
yeah,
stuff. And the pharmaceutical industry, I mean, I think he put it is that they're basically just drug dealers with a white coat, and
yeah.
that's all they are.
That, John, that is an understatement. I mean, the people that own and pay for the Food and Drug Administration in the USA, I don't know what they call it in the UK, they're funded by GlaxoSmithKline, who's that other company now? Uh, where they're doing the GMO food. I'll think of it in a minute. But it's all government, not government, corporate, controlled by Halliburton,
Yeah,
others, massive, massive companies.
there's actually a website about that actually, which like yeah, I mean obviously it's controlled by these massive companies, and what they do is that and I think Pastor Cooley brought this up in his sermon. They actually will make up these type of mental problems like ADHD or OCD, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
When the problem is not that your kid is the problem, the problem is mostly could be because he needs more discipline or that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
they'll make up these conditions to say, okay, here's a pill for that, and then you know you get money,
yeah.
you get the money. But
A bit like Ritalin, isn't it, John?
yeah,
I'm not saying Ritalin can't help, but most of the time they're over prescribing it.
and I would encourage anyone who like thinks it's good to take these pills, just take time to research some of the side effects of these things,
Yeah,
and you'll be shocked. But here's actually an article on a website called drugwatch.com, and it brings talking about suicide and antidepressants, and I think Pastor Cooley read this article in one of his sermons, but says that while antidepressants are designed to decrease symptoms of depression, they occasionally have the opposite effect and can increase suicidal thoughts and actions, especially in children and adolescents. Especially when your
yeah.
brain is still developing too, because your brain isn't fully developed till you're 25, I think.
And that's the key word there, your brain. It does damage to your brain. Once the brain, damage has been done to your brain, I mean, I think a certain amount of you can come back from it a bit. But once the damage is done to your synapses, that's it, really, isn't it? It just gets worse.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm 19 years old, but I'm still like my brain is still developing. It won't be fully developed till I'm 25. So it's like, you know, these pills they mess up your brain.
Yeah,
But I'll keep reading. It says, in 2004, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration issued a black box warning, the agency's strictest warning for all selective serotonin. Hope I'm saying that right.
other,
Reputate in. I'm not good at reading some of these fancy names. Antidepressants, basically SSRI antidepressants, regarding their association with suicidal thoughts and behaviors. The warning was updated in 2007 with the FDA specifying that the risk is highest for your young adults ages 18 to 24. So when your brain is still developing, children under 18 are still at risk, or I mean are also at risk too. It says. Clinical studies found no significant increase of suicidality among adults older than 24 and a decrease in suicidal thoughts among adults 65 and older. Yeah, because your brain is already developed at that point. But like when your brain is still developing, you should just be shoving these drugs that will affect your brain. Says many SSRIs are intended to use for in adults only, but they can be prescribed to children. Why are you prescribing that to children? That's a question there. Teens and young adults as an off-label treatment of depression and anxiety disorders. Pregnant women face a unique challenge with SSRIs. Pregnancy can increase the risk of depression, but SSRIs may also increase birth defect risks. Without treatment for depression, pregnant women may face additional health risks. The most severe cases may include miscarriage or suicide. Doctors and parents must carefully weigh these risks against those of SSRI and birth defects. So, causes birth
John,
defects.
they're not capable. Most people are not capable of assessing the risk.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously they know there's a risk because they know that any pills and stuff we take that dissipates or whatever you call it into the bloodstream is going to go into your baby. What does
exactly. Yeah.
SSRI mean, John? Sorry, I mean I didn't mean to.
That's okay. It's okay.
What
I'll keep reading. It says, yeah, I'll keep reading. So it says, how do SSRIs increase suicidal thoughts? Patients who take, and again, SSRIs are just basically antidepressants. Patients who take SSRIs may experience side effects such as violent behavior, mania, or aggression, which can all lead to suicide. Depression is a complex issue caused by biological, genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. SSRIs are generally thought to treat depression by blocking the reuptake of serotonin in the brain. This leads to higher levels of serotonin in the brain. Neurotransmitter are thought to positively influence mood, sleep, and emotion. So it's like messing with your brain, basically.
Yeah.
But this can result in mood swings and may lead to a worsening of depression or anxiety. Taking more than the recommended dose or suddenly stopping the use of antidepressants can increase a patient's chance of experiencing suicidal thoughts and behaviors. What begins as withdrawing from friends and social and activities and a loss of interest in work can escalate to harming oneself. In clinical trials and public use, there have been cases where the antidepressant users have thought about or attempted or actually committed suicide. A clinical trial conducted by the FDA showed that the rate of suicidal thinking or behavior doubled for patients taking SSRIs compared to those assigned to relieve placebos. I think that's how you say it. More than 44,000 people die by suicide in the U.S. each year, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Among those who are diagnosed with major depressive disorder, MDD, roughly 15% of treated patients will eventually die of suicide. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it goes down there.
When I was in jail, right, I don't want to bore anybody with these little anecdotes. When I was in the first 6 years of the sentence, I was at Gartry between 83 and 86. And we used to laugh at it, but now I don't. They used to have a Largactyl queue, John. There'd be like a medical hatch, where you go to get medical treatment. There'd be a hatch in the side of the wall on this big corridor between B and C wing. And they'd all be queuing up. There'd be about 10 or 20 of them. But as soon as that hatch is open, or as soon as the gate opens, they're down there into the what we call a Largactyl queue to get the little tot of green fluid. And then they'd be monged out for the rest of the day till they got another tot that evening.
Not surprised.
Plenty of suicides in jail.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, and who runs the jail industry obviously ties all roads lead to Rome. All of this ties back to the Jesuit order. There are, a lot of these doctors are Jesuits. A lot of them.
Well, there is one big company that most people have never heard of it, and when I looked at it, it's associated with the prison system. I'll type it into the private chat because I can't type into these thingies. But it's the biggest company that most people on this earth have never heard of. The amount of, they run prisons in this country. They've been accused of abuse in young persons' prisons. killing people in the prison vans, you know, in the transport inmates.
Oh
So
wow.
group 4.
Yeah. I guess I'll keep reading the article though.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry. Sorry.
it's okay. You know, I find it interesting actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
so it says restlessness. So it says stimulant effects may lead to suicide. So one of the side effects of these pills is basically you just can't sit still. You're restless basically. Antidepressants have also been linked to how do you say that? Akathisia, whatever. Basically, this condition where you just can't sit still, which is extreme restlessness and an inability to sit still. The discomfort can be so great, suicide becomes a welcome alternative to feeling this type of agitation. Sometimes it's misdiagnosed as worsening depression. So like basically this thing of where they just can't sit still, they have to constantly be moving around and stuff. That's one of the side effects of these things. At least one antidepressant, Prozac, can have a stimulant effect similar to whatever. I'm not good at reading some of these big, huge scientific names. And whatever. I'm not going to bother. But you get the whole picture. Basically, these antidepressants don't. I mean, they do help sometimes, but all the side effects are pretty bad. Study finds increased anxiety in healthy patients. So these antidepressants are not really helping your depression. In some cases they're making it worse. So
Those SSRIs a downer, are they, or an upper?
I would say that like personally I wouldn't take them just because of the side effects really.
Yeah. Yeah. Do those SSRIs suppress feelings and things like that, do they, or just numb your brain, or?
I think what they do is that they can because I think it said something about how they what they do is that they like I think they stop the level of serotonin that comes to your brain.
Yeah.
So they I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look at it again. But it talks about where does it say that? There's like a part of the article that talks about how they work and whatever, and yeah. So it says basically what depression is that it's a complex issue caused by biological, genetic, environmental, and psychological factors, and these SSRIs, they treat depression by blocking the reuptake of serotonin into the brain, and it basically leads to higher levels of serotonin in the brain, which is a neurotransmitter thought to positively influence mood. So what it does is that it does things with the serotonin level to where it affects your positivity and your influence. Sorry, it positively affects your influence, mood, and sleep and emotion. So it has a positive influence on it. But the side effects really kind of outweigh the good.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody understands the brain anyway, John. I mean, it's been researching the brain for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I mean the brain's a really complex organism. It's like you know
But that
I
was,
mean, like for example, you have your prefrontal cortex, which isn't fully developed till you're 25, which is related to like good decision making, smart decisions, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Which actually, a little side note, studies have actually shown that pornography, like being addicted to pornography and looking at pornography, can actually, it actually does damage to your prefrontal cortex, which can actually reduce your brain to a more, I think it was like delayed, developmentally delayed state, to where like you can have you can be an adult but have like a adolescent or childish brain basically. So it
yeah,
messes with your prefrontal cortex and makes your brain become more juvenile and childish.
yeah. Can I just go on about? I'm not trying to. That word synthesize. That sounds as though well, it does come from that Hegelian dialectic. You know, thesis, antithesis,
Yeah,
synthesis. So, I mean, synthesizing. I don't know what it's
yeah.
synthetic. It's like GMO food, isn't it? It's GMO everything in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And isn't it kind of funny too that a lot of these conditions, like these health problems, weren't around in the ancient times, weren't around in the Middle Ages. They
Yeah,
only started recently with the chemicals in the food and all this other stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's true, John. I mean, nobody was. I don't think anybody was taking tablets in the before the 18th century. I don't think. I mean, they may well have been doing so. So I mean, I think a lot of them were into opium.
I mean, people back in the Middle Ages didn't have to worry about EMF rays or rays, or EMF rays as in like microwaves and that kind of stuff, and they didn't have to worry about I think it was micro radiation or something. Because a interesting fact about the Wi-Fi, like Wi-Fi boxes that produce Wi-Fi, um, a lot of these like Wi-Fi machines actually produce, I think it's microwave radiation or something like that,
Yeah,
and that's why it's really good if you leave the house to turn the Wi-Fi off, so it like
yeah.
doesn't just fill your house with microwave radiation. But this stuff wasn't a problem back in the Middle Ages. They didn't have to worry about EMF rays or microwave radiation in the house or stuff like that, or GMO chemicals in the food. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it will cook you. I mean, when I was in the army, I don't know if I might read an anecdote. I don't make it doing that. When I was in the army, I was in the signal platoon in the infantry. We had what's called a ground-mounted monopole for transmitting and receiving signals. 50 watts. I accidentally touched the antenna. I burnt my fingers on it, John.
Mm. Wow.
It was quite low frequencies. These microwaves, they're in the hundreds of gigacycles, aren't they? Very, very high frequencies.
Yeah.
So it will agitate the molecules or whatever in your brain and cook you.
And what's funny about all this? When you all trace it back, it all traces back to there's like a Jesuit behind this, or a Jesuit influenced this, or it always traces back to the Jesuit order. All roads still lead to Rome.
Yeah. All yeah. Yeah, they got the fingers in every pie.
Yeah,
Oh, they make me ill.
yeah. They definitely do. Yeah,
Well, yeah, in one way, in one. Yeah.
yeah. And then you got this Jesuit priest who's like saying, "Well, the Bible could be wrong about this, so it's like correcting the Bible now," and
Yeah.
all this crazy stuff. I mean, the Jesuits, they may seem all nice when you first hear about them, but like really, when you dig down to it, they're super wicked. When you like dig deep into them and that kind of stuff, and you
Yeah.
know, I mean, Eric Phelps definitely knows a lot about the Jesuits too, and
Oh, he
you
does,
know,
yeah.
I mean, I'd say they are probably one of the most wicked organizations in the history of mankind.
Southern Poverty Law Centre and the Jesuits. Oh, you mean the Jesuits? Yes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
But,
and then Southern Poverty Law Center. I mean, those guys apparently their founder was actually fired apparently from his job as like basically director of the Southern Poverty Law Center for I think sexually harassing somebody. So it's like their
yeah,
founder's a pervert basically,
yeah, yeah.
and they put his church on there as a hate group because they exposed the Jesuit order and exposed the wickedness of the Jesuits and the Roman
Yeah.
Catholic Church.
I mean, Eric does have his faults, of course he does. I mean, we can say that of anybody, any Christian. But when he's doing, I mean, he gets angry, John.
Mm.
I mean, I respect that. That tells me how genuine he is. He doesn't start swearing.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I mean, why do people? I mean, even Brian Denlinger, he had an interview with Eric John Phelps, and he hasn't had him back on since.
Well,
Why?
yeah. There's a video. I think I have a clip of it where because apparently Eric Phelps is a Trinitarian. He's like big on the Trinity, and him and Brian were going back and forth over email or something like that over like the Trinity versus Godhead thing. And I'm not the kind of person who would call somebody lost who believes in the Trinity. I mean, I don't think it's a salvation issue, but I guess Brian probably thinks it's a separation issue, someone's belief in the Godhead. So he basically there's a video he did called "A Straight Betwixt Two," where like doing I think it was either that or I don't know. There was some stream he did or whatever. I don't remember what it was called, but I have the clip of him saying it where someone points out to him how like Eric Phelps was like talking about some person denies the Trinity, and they're saying, oh, we're talking about Brian, and then Brian says, yeah, Brian says that basically Phelps is a heretic and he doesn't want anything to do with him anymore, and that he said, well, I very much respected Phelps, but I don't want anything to do with him anymore, and I mean that's kind of the thing.
Take it out with the backwater, John.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, he's a Trinitarian, and I don't agree with him on the Trinity. I mean, obviously, I do believe in the body, soul, spirit, Godhead, but at the same time, I don't believe the Trinity. I mean, nor does the Scripture say that the Trinity or Godhead is like a separation issue. It never says that anywhere in Scripture. I mean, if someone's outright denying that Jesus Christ is God, or like teaching oneness, then yeah, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like making a big issue out of something that is not like shouldn't be made a big issue. I mean, because it's not like Trinitarians deny that Jesus Christ is God. They say he's God, but they just don't say he's like the body of the Godhead or whatever. But as long as they're still claiming he's God, then like if they're denying he's God, if they're saying he's the Son but not God or something like that, but they're still saying he's God. So it's like I don't see a problem with that. Although I still believe in the Godhead, and I'll always believe in the Godhead.
Well, who sat on the throne? I mean, who am I to explain God, John? I'm nobody.
Well, yeah, exactly. Great is the mystery of godliness.
This is an argument that's been going on, I think, for nearly 17 or 1800 years.
Yeah.
Who can explain God? Nobody can.
Yeah. And then you got like then you got then you got Diotrephes Deering coming out and saying, "Oh,
turned up."
yeah." It's like then you got Diotrephes Deering who's saying, oh, there's no such thing as a saved Trinitarian. So in other words, the gospel is believe on the death, burial, resurrection, and the Godhead apparently. So it's like, no, I mean it's not a salvation issue. As long as they're not denying that Jesus Christ is God, then they're still saved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if they're coming out and saying like this Chris LaSala guy, he's a heretic. He came out and said, I did a video on him. He came out and said that Jesus Christ is the Son, but he's not God Almighty. Yeah, that someone like that's a heretic because they're saying he's not God, which he is. But it's like they're taking this thing way too far.
Yeah. I think it's quite dangerous ground. I mean, saying that somebody's not saved. I mean, I have stated that. I mean, it's very rare that I do it, but I have stated that I do not believe that Aaron Deering is saved. But I haven't had that discernment that he is a saved man. I'd like to believe that he is. But the way he's been dealing with people in the last, I would say 2 months, but I think it goes back a lot further because I don't know anything about what's been going on with him. You know better than me, John, but I find it very difficult to believe that he's a saved man.
Well, yeah, and I mentioned before that I've had problems with him even back when I was part of the Brian group, and like I never got a good spiritual feeling with him. But this is kind of the problem is that he basically will just call you lost over any little thing you do, without like because my thing is that my kind of thing is that I'm not going to call somebody lost if I don't know them personally. I mean, I want to get to know the person personally, because if he were to know, I mean, if he is saved, obviously, but if the Dillingerites were to know me personally, they would know that we're both Christians. The problem with online, with just solely being online, is that like you just see them online, like you don't know what they're really like, and it was like with Aaron, he had a persona of holiness online, but then offline he's like this dirty pervert. So,
well, yeah. I mean, the other thing is, John, I'm sure you've probably noticed this. Aaron Deering, either he hasn't read Jacob's book or he has, but he hasn't said a thing about it. And I've done 3 or 4 or 5 videos about that skanky book of his.
yeah.
And I'm confident, it's just an opinion, that Aaron Deering has seen my video regarding Jacob Thompson's book. He hasn't. Not a peep out of him.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder, I just don't understand where where all these young kids, like these young, like little, and obviously I'm a young person too, but it's like where all these young kids come out and just think they have the authority to just call everybody lost who doesn't agree with them, or and it's like correcting people and rebuking people, and like and it's like obviously like you should rebuke false prophets, but it's like it's like a lot of these young kids who just come out of Brian's group are just, a lot of them are extremely prideful and won't take correction on anything, and just it's like they're right, and it's like if you disagree with them, you're a horrible person. I mean, it's like I don't understand where these young kids get this mentality of they're qualified for ministry, and they can just call everybody lost, and it's like whatever Brian says is the truth, and if you don't agree with Brian, you're lost. That's what they're like.
How old is Jacob, by the way?
I think he's younger than Aaron, actually, from what I understand. He's even younger than Aaron.
22 or 24 or something.
I think Aaron is about 23, 24. I think Jacob is JT. I think he's about like 21 or like 20 or 21. I think.
Yeah.
And it's even more crazy too is that I've always said that my standard for ministry is I wouldn't ordain somebody for ministry until they're at least in their 30s. So JT, he got into ministry when he was basically like 20, or he was like 19 years old, and he'd only been saved for like a year, and it's like, but he basically thinks, okay, I've been saved for only about a year, I'm only 19 years old, but I'm somehow qualified for ministry. It's like, where do these young kids get this mentality that they're somehow qualified when they've only been saved for a year and they're like in their like early 20s? It's weird. It comes from a place of pride too. A lot of them are just prideful and think they're qualified to teach and just call everybody lost. Oh, he muted his mic. But yeah, these little kids, I mean, I'm not against someone just making videos, which is what I do, but it's like I don't claim to be in ministry. I don't claim to be a preacher or that kind of stuff. I just make short videos talking about Bible doctrine and that kind of stuff. I don't do like in-depth studies or that kind of stuff because I'm too young. I'm not qualified. These young kids who just come out and like they've been saved for like a year or two and think they're qualified to teach the Word of God. Oh, you're back. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go put the dog out, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I meant to type it in the private chat, but I just... Jacob, and I'm only assuming this from his website, the donation page, I get he seems to imply that he's an elder.
Really? So JT, a guy who's less than 4 years older than I am. I'm 19. He's like 20, 22. He thinks he's an elder. I mean, that it shows he's got a lot of pride issues.
Yeah. I think your videos are excellent, by the way, John, because they're short and sweet.
Yeah.
And they're within the sort of attention span being.
Yeah, wait. That's the thing. Most people they have short attention spans. They can't deal with like long, drawn out sermons. They just want a short video and that's it.
Yeah. I think you could do longer sermons, John, with a bit more preparation and a bit more harm.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just funny. So a guy who's in his 20s, like barely in his 20s, fancies himself as an elder. I mean, you gotta love that. It's ridiculous.
He's married, isn't he, John?
I think he might be. I don't know.
I was told he is. Well, Tim, the way he was talking about Jacob and his pet Jezebel wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, JT
I
is.
said that about Jacob. I would never do that to Jacob's wife or Brian Denlinger's wife. But yeah, I mean, I think he is married.
Yeah, and the comment that I think you're referring to was. And what happened was that before he left that comment, JT went on Tim's video, basically showing that Brian was covering up his sin, and was just railing and ripping on Tim. And I wish I had taken screenshots of JT's comment. I mean, JT, he's just a bitter, nasty like little child. Believe me, he's very nasty and bitter. But he was just ripping and railing on Tim, and because JT couldn't deal with the fact that he was wrong. because he's a kid, he's prideful. So and him and Tim are going back and forth, and Tim, just blocked JT. He said, I'm blocking JT because he's a child, immature child, and he's an idolater of Brian Dillinger, and is basically putting Brian above the word of God, and it's basically whatever Brian says goes. And he's right. I mean, JT is just an idolater of Brian Dillinger. He doesn't question what Brian says, and it just if Brian says it, that means it's true apparently. And that's kind of the thing about most of these Dillinger followers, even the ones that are kind of like a little bit older too, like in their 50s or 60s. A lot of them are just very childish, and a lot of them behave like children. That's the thing.
Chapter the ambassador says JT is 21.
Yeah, so he's 21 years old, but yeah, he fancies himself as an elder. Crazy. I mean, I'm 19, so I'm 2 years younger than he is, and so it's like someone like that's way too young to be an elder.
Yeah.
Hence why the word is called elder.
I would say an elder would at least have to be about 30 or 40, married with children, I think.
Yeah, I would say at least in their 30s, because that's when Jesus Christ got into ministry in his 30s. So it's like if I was like a pastor or something, I wouldn't send somebody out to be a minister until they're at least in their 30s, and that kind of stuff. Like some young kid in his 20s has been saved, and also in their 30s, and have been at least saved for like more than 2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Because like some young kid has been saved for like a year or so, and Shepherd Tabasco said he was born in 1989. I was born in 2001, so.
You're all puppies.
Yeah, yeah, we're all little kids. Well, I'm probably the youngest one, but it's
But
ridiculous.
you're very unique, John. How many Christians do you know your age that teach the King James Bible?
I mean, I can't find. I've been told that a lot. I mean, most kids my age, I mean, aren't even Bible believers, let alone King James Bible believers.
Yeah. Yeah. I looked at that guy, End Times teacher, another one, Hebrew Roots, totally foolish video.
I think he might be a black Hebrew Israelite, because from what I see from his
No,
videos.
he's not black, he's a white guy.
Well, yeah, but the Hebrew Israelites, they accept white people who basically bow down and worship them. I've seen they'll have basically, if you're a white person who like admits to the quote unquote sins of your race, and like you basically just essentially worship black people, then you are accepted in the group apparently.
Yeah.
I know that because I actually was talking with him one time, and he told me that basically Satan is the white man, which is what the Hebrew Israelites believe, black Hebrew Israelites believe. So I think he might be a follower of the black Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, but he's done a couple of videos on me. I mean, yeah, like me and him kind of we're going back and forth ever since February of this year, because it first started when I did a video. I think it was on Babylon being the Roman Catholic Church, because one of the doctrines of the Hebrew Israelites, black Hebrew Israelites, is they believe that Babylon is America. They don't believe it's the Roman Catholic Church, and it's like they are against Roman Catholicism, but they don't believe it's Mystery Babylon. So I did a video on Mystery Babylon, and he tried to say that Mystery Babylon is America, not the Roman Catholic Church, and basically I tried to we're going back and forth. The next day he tells me he did a video on me, so I checked it out, did a response, and then he does, I mentioned something about hell, because the Hebrew Israelites, they also don't believe in hell either. They think that hell is just a condition on earth. They don't believe it's like a literal place of torment. So we started going back and forth about hell. So then he does a video refuting me on hell too, trying to refute my position that hell is actually a literal place of torment. So then I don't respond to that video. So then we're just going back and forth, and I do a video like I think a month later on polygamy, showing that polygamy is a sin. He does a video trying to refute that video too, and then it's like he just like I don't know, but it's like he's done lots of videos trying to refute me on some stuff, and then like I think he did a video. His two recent ones are like refuting me on polygamy again. So it's like he's done probably at least about 5 or 6 videos on me.
Yeah,
So,
Jesus was in the temple at age 12.
yeah,
Same things with the scribes and the Pharisees and the lawyers and whatever.
yeah, but he's God though, so it's like it's different for him.
I don't think I don't. Could you say he was preaching?
Well, you could say, well, but at the same time, he was God. Well, he is God manifest in the flesh. He is come in the flesh,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fully
so
not.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I see where you're coming at. He definitely went to the temple because I think in Judaism they believe that when you're 13 or 12, you're basically an adult at that point. So
Yeah. When you, at that age, you stop being taught by your mother,
yeah,
and then your father takes up. Well, I mean, say father. Your dad takes over. It's habit that that word. Your dad takes over and takes you under his instruction. Then
yeah.
you
Well,
go,
it's like it's like in Judaism, or like in Orthodox Judaism over in Israel. You'll see like 12-year-olds. They like once they turn 12, they go off to start studying the Torah, and
get back mitzvah, don't they?
yeah, they have their bar mitzvah, and like you'll see them studying the Torah, and um, you know. So that's the thing. Yeah, but so this Hebrew Israelite guy. So yeah, he's done like lots of videos on me, and refuting me on some stuff I said, and
Mhm.
so it started when he did a video trying to refute me on. I think he did 2 videos trying to refute me on the I think it was America being Babylon, and then he tries to refute me. Like there's a video trying to refute me on. He does 2 videos trying to refute me, saying that hell is actually not like saying that hell is basically not a place of torment, and saying that I'm wrong for saying that it's a place of torment. Then he does a video trying to refute me on polygamy being a sin or something, and then
Yeah.
there's 2 more videos trying to refute me on that too. So
Possibly he's trying to make a name for himself or something.
I don't know. And that's kind of funny too, because I've come across some videos that atheists have done about me and stuff, and you know, it's like I've come across a couple. I think there's one video I came across, but it's like I did some videos recently just like slamming atheism. So I guarantee you, there's gonna be some videos about me by atheists, trying to debunk me or whatever. Because that's what atheists do. You do a video about atheists, and they'll be doing something or debunking you or whatever. I have that happen a lot. I'll come out with stuff attacking atheism, then atheist people will do videos refuting me. I've had that happen to me a lot.
They still
I'm
make
trying to
themselves though, John, don't they?
Yeah,
They want to argue about somebody who they do not believe exists, which makes them fools, really,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. They want to argue, you know, about something that doesn't even exist. Or that they think doesn't exist. So it's like, I guarantee you, someone will take that out of context and say, "See, John Cragin denies God." That's going to happen probably, but in their mind, God doesn't exist. So why are you obsessed with trying to disprove? Why are you obsessed with attacking him? It's weird.
Well, we're not. I mean, somebody said to me, and he's right, you should keep your eyes on Jesus Christ, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Expose these people. I mean, not every day, doing 2 or 3 videos a day and all that sort of thing. But if we don't point it out, if none of the Bible-believing Christians point it out, and people are just going to walk into it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Mike, if I was walking down the street with you, John, and I saw a piece of dog poop on the side of the road, I'd point it out to you and say avoid, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I say nothing, what to do? I'll let you walk through it, walk into it or something? Well, no.
Yeah.
No, we won't. No, we have to establish the truth.
Yeah. So yeah, so I just found 2 videos Yeah, exactly. It is biblical to expose evil. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
I just found two videos that have been done about me.
But there's
As soon
the
as,
other way of doing it, because if Brian was communicable, if you could talk to him, if you could email, he doesn't have to put his email out. If you could go on, I mean, you tried to Skype him and talk to him.
yeah, I asked him, hey, can I add you on Skype, and he basically told me no.
Yeah. And King's Table, when he's done quite a few live streams. I'm not his disciple or anything, but asking people to come in, ask questions. He puts his email up. Does he get any responses? Well, no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
They won't talk, John. What are they frightened of?
yeah. What are they hiding? Exactly. I mean, what are they hiding? Like, what are they so afraid of? But here's one video about me. It's called just Kragan, and they mirrored it. But it basically was trying to like respond to a video I did. Basically saying that how I got out of atheism and how I'm a former atheist, and they're basically responding to me, and that's one video they've done about me. And then here's the other one. You just Google John Kragan atheism, and then this stuff comes up. How to defeat atheist response to John Kragan. So those are two videos so far I found that atheists have done about me.
Yeah. Who's this fella called Guy?
Uh, I don't know.
Shepherd
It's,
Ambassador, he says, I haven't seen you two in a while. Has Guy been on your live streams lately?
hmm.
Guy.
I'm not gonna play the videos that atheists have done about me because I watch both of them, and they're using profanity, so I'm
Oh,
not gonna
really?
bother playing them. But it's just funny how they just attack me so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, have any of the Denlingers been in contact with you, John? Because they do have your email address, don't they?
None of them have been in contact with me, and the thing about the Denlinger rights is that there are like a select few of them I would actually even talk to, because a lot of them are just really immature and just don't. There's basically are just these yes men to Brian Dillinger, so it's like there's no point.
Yeah.
But there are some of them I definitely would, maybe talk to, but a lot of them they're not really mature enough for me to like bother talking to them, because they're just going to amen everything Brian says, and they're not going to question anything he says.
Ah, I think Shepherd's Ambassador is a builder. Is
Uh,
he a builder? A builder. I don't know.
Yes, someone says, Anonymous A says, I'm starting to see Brian Dillinger's true colors slowly. Yeah, I mean, I did too. I was seeing actually, I'll just put the comment on the thing. I was seeing problems way back in June with, how they treated Tim, and how his followers were not looking at Tim's side of the story. They were just blindly following Brian and calling Tim lost because he basically dared to question the man of God. And I was seeing problems ever since then. And then eventually I came out with a video just attempting to lovingly correct Brian. And then Diotrephes Aaron Deering comes out and attacks me and revokes my salvation because I committed the sin. I guess I committed the unpardonable sin of disagreeing with Brian. So
We razor out.
yeah. I mean, I guess he visited heaven and plucked me out of God's hand or whatever. But he attacked me, and then they all just called me lost because I dared to question the Pope. I dared to speak against the man of God. So I've had my salvation revoked. So and this is what they do. Anyone who questions Brian is lost. That's what they do.
Well, they're going to get booted out. They're going to get. They're going to get. Well, treated badly.
Yeah.
Will get blocked.
And just the way they treated him just shows that even those who are really close to Brian will get treated like garbage the moment they attempt to rebuke Brian.
I love Tim to bits, me, John. I disagree with him on one particular issue. I wouldn't sort of go hard at it and say but I know for a fact he's a saved man. As I do with every maritime Bible believer.
Yeah, they're saved.
I enjoyed talking to Tim. He's a nice lad. He's not what did Deering call him now? An evil, wicked something or other devil.
Well, Diotrephes Deering called him a rotten devil, which
Yeah, a rotten devil. That's it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Horan brought in devil just because he attempted to rebuke Brian. So apparently Brian can't be rebuked at all. Apparently, which
Yeah.
is wicked.
He won't rebuke Jacob for his skanky book, though, will he?
Yeah, he won't rebuke Jacob for
No.
this graven image. I guess if this is supposed to represent Jesus Christ, it's a graven image because you're not supposed to make images of the Godhead. That's the thing.
I wonder how long you've been a builder, Tony. Oh. Oh, he thinks I'm called Guy. No, my name's Bob.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna be heading out now. I don't want to overuse my. What?
You going, John?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overuse my streaming limit because I think I'm actually
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
you
What?
can get more out as easily. You just use a different
Yeah.
email again, and you can still stream to the same channel.
Yeah, I probably will be going live tomorrow too, but I'm gonna be heading out now. So
Oh, okay, then I can't persuade you to stay then.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hope you're left here all lonely and then nobody to talk to.
Oh, but we definitely have because because now my province Ontario is on lockdown, so I can't go to work now. So
Oh,
it's like I basically have all day to stream now, pretty much.
yeah.
So I'll probably be going live tomorrow at some point. So
You let me know on Twitter, John.
yeah.
If you come in or if you don't need me in or whatever, I'm not coming to you if you need.
Oh no, I enjoy your company. I enjoy your company.
And Shepherd's ambassador, Tony.
Yeah. And anyone can come in. I mean, I'm not like some kind of cult leader where you have to agree with me on every single point, or else I condemn you to hell. Anyone can come in. We can talk. We can, if you have questions, whatever.
If you use the manners, that's all I would be bothered about.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're a Denlinger follower, hey, if you think I'm lost, hey, how about you come to get to know me personally before, that kind of thing. That's the thing.
That would be crypt tonight too, John. If you come in here, that's it. We get the salvation report.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would prefer genuine King James Bible believing Christians to come in. Those that do.
well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I would limit it to King James Bible believers. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's like an atheist or like a Satanist or whatever, I'd say yeah, get saved, obviously, but
What's that you playing about with on your table?
oh, I was trying to get the lid off my bottle.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Well, we're ending the broadcast now. So
Okay, John. God bless you, brother.
God bless you. Thank you to everyone that joined. What the? Oh, I saw something. But yeah.
Pray for me, John, won't you? I'll pray
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
well definitely, yeah.
And Tony.
Yep.
Tony the Builder.